Hello, welcome to another video. This is going to be video number 17, talking about essay number 3 and introducing this assignment. As you can see up here on the top of the assignment sheet, this is going to be what the peer review and due dates are going to be. Also see the same schedule on schedule, which is at the bottom of the syllabus. You'll see that the week, like the very last week, we'll do peer review. So Monday, May 3rd, you'll email me your essay number 3 draft. Ideally at least 3 to 4 pages. That's the final draft of it is 4 to 5, but ideally at least 3 to 4. By then, if you can get to that 4 to 5, that's even better. By 11:59 p.m., I will set up a peer review that Tuesday morning of May 4th. And you should comment and comment on your peers' drafts by Wednesday, May 5th. Depending on how we're doing throughout the semester, I may or may not have a question guide for this one. It just kind of depends on how peer review goes throughout the semester, so I'll keep you updated on that. So you should finish with peer review by Wednesday, May 5th, and then the final draft is due Sunday, May 9th. Now, SWIC has a kind of a different schedule of other colleges I've taught before. Their final exam week, it's like a Thursday to a Wednesday. It's kind of strange. So, like in the past when I've taught in person in the classroom at SWIC, it's been like we've had classes on Mondays and Tuesdays and sometimes on Wednesdays, and those are mostly just like making sure everybody's, doing okay, and if anybody has any questions, and kind of just like check-ins, but not much formal lectures going on. So I have the final portfolio, which will have a separate video about that, due like the 17th, which is the second half of that final week, but it's kind of strange. So this is why there's such a large gap between the final draft of essay number 3 and the portfolio. Ideally, what this means is that hopefully I should have everybody's essay number 3 graded and commented on before the portfolio is due. I can't guarantee that's going to happen, but I will try. That's a lot more time. It's a whole extra week, so hopefully I can do that. So back to the assignment sheet, okay? So that's kind of the due dates. Essay number 3 is kind of like an extension of essay number 2, but it's not a rhetorical analysis essay. It is 4 to 5 double-spaced pages, so it's longer. So we have 2 to 3, then we have essay, then 3 to 4 page, and now we have 4 to 5 pages, and 250 points. So this is worth 25% of your total grade. So if you want to think of a final, project, this is the final project. So for this assignment, you will pick a text. For essay number 2, your text was an image, and I have told you should pick an image and analyze it rhetorically. For this assignment, you could pick any text. It can still be an image. We could do episode of a TV show. Could do part of a movie, graphic novel. So many different texts that you can do. Intro to a video game. Whatever it is. And so by text, I mean an object to study that is read as a text. In other words, text that can be printed work, image, place, television program, film, music video, video game, and so forth. Anything that can really be analyzed, okay? So you can analyze a person, you can analyze a place, but having a text that you can't actually analyze and observe. Your argument and your thesis does not have to be based on rhetoric for this essay, but you should have a thesis nonetheless. And you have a lot more freedom in this essay to kind of figure out where you want to go with it. So your thesis should be creative, argumentative main claim that carries some cultural significance to it. So why does this text matter? So similar to essay number 2, when you had your list of observations with your invention, I'll have a separate invention for this assignment. I'll have another video, the next video, to kind of talk about that assignment sheet, which will help you brainstorm this assignment. But really thinking about what are your observations? So observations, interpretations, applications. So that means the evidence that you are examining and the explicit meaning that you are drawing from. So what does your evidence prove, and how does it connect with your main claim? Similar to essay number 2, you should only include observations and evidence that are relevant to your main thesis, to your main claim. If you have lots of information and then it's not relevant to your thesis whatsoever, you can delete it, get rid of it, don't need it whatsoever. And that significance is that so what? So all those why and how questions. Why do we care? Why does it matter that you understand the text in the way you've argued? What changes as a result of your understanding the text in this way you do? And I'm not giving a lot of necessarily specifics about like rhetorical analysis because again, you have a lot of freedom to take this essay the way you want to. You could, if you're analyzing maybe a character analysis, you could analyze a TV show episode and how you could, in that way, there's so many ways you could do this. What matters is that you're analyzing the text, and then you're analyzing some significance of it, and you have a thesis and you're supporting that thesis throughout. But it has to be analysis of it. So don't make an argumentative research paper about the word large. Your analysis still has your thesis still has to be based on an analysis of a text. That's what's important. Okay. You may examine any of the written text from our class for television show, film, anything like that could be really interesting. You also should have one credible source, and I will have a whole list of videos later on this semester that discuss research, how to find research. One of the smaller pieces that of smaller skills that we look at in this class is research, but you're going to discuss that and look at that much more thoroughly in English 102. But English 101 is just kind of dabs your feet, put your feet in the water and kind of gets you familiar with these skills for the next class that you take, English 102. So it's not a research paper. You have to do a whole bunch of research, but you should find one credible outside source to support your argument. You must also cite this source in the text you're analyzing, so you should have them as a works cited citation and in-text citations. And again, I'm going to have other videos that discuss what MLA format means. You can watch those videos and learn more about that. You can compare and contrast no more than two different texts. So maybe you have two different TV shows that you want to compare and contrast episodes. Maybe you have two different music videos. Sometimes in the past, students have done the song and the music video that they look at as well. If you choose this route, your paper must combine both texts under a single unified thesis. So your analysis isn't here's one text and here's another. Your analysis is based on the comparing and contrast of them. So what do they have in common? What's different about them? So you're actually looking at both, comparing and contrasting your observations. And then, so you shouldn't have a 2-page paper about the one text and another 2 pages on the other text. The entire paper should support your unified text about your unified thesis about both of them. You should analyze. You can technically, I guess, write a rhetorical analysis paper for this, but a lot of people hate it, so you don't necessarily have to. But you should go beyond the obvious. A successful paper will present and develop a strong thesis, not merely an opinion. Makes a claim and communicates the significance of that claim. Moves beyond the obvious. Don't just summarize the text. You have to show why that information matters. Provide evidence from the text that you're showing to prove to support your thesis. So your evidence would be your observations from your text or both texts if you're comparing and contrasting, and your outside source that you're using to support your thesis. You're using that to support it, and then that why also. Should not be a 5-paragraph essay. Okay, you should have your paragraphs should build off of each other. We talked about that early on in the semester with essay number 1, but that hasn't changed. If you're struggling with that, you can look at my comments for essay number 2. If you're maybe essay number 1, you had a problem with that for that. But if you need me to read your essay again, definitely you can email me at least a week before the paper is due. I can help with that as well. Have specific language. Engage the reader with good diction, proper mechanics. Make it readable, but also be specific. Don't have any unnecessary excess language if you don't need to. Have an appropriate, interesting title. Don't just say essay number 3 or my paper or whatever. Just make it relevant to the essay. Be in a proper MLA format. Don't write an APA. Have a works cited paper too. And so even if you provide an image, it must be documented. And of course, in Times New Roman, 1-inch margins, and 12-point font. Now we will go over some examples, some of this. You should be watching this video week 12, kind of the week of April 5th. We will do some wiki observations. So this week, week 12, we will be doing a song lyrics observation, and then we'll have a separate video, video 19, talking about how to exactly go about that. And then the following week, week 13, have a wiki observation on a Walking Dead video. And the Walking Dead video is more to think about how do you observe, like what when there's not the Walking Dead, it's not a very long clip, it's like 4 or 5 minutes long, but how do you actually go about describing something if there's not a lot of audio or words being said? So that's meant to help with descriptions. Both of those smaller assignments are meant to help kind of bridge the gap between what I would normally do in a physical classroom. So in the classroom, we have a lot of like in-depth conversations about examples, which we're not able to have at this point because we're not in the classroom and we're not doing synchronous learning. But I think hopefully those assignments, they're smaller assignments, and hopefully they will help practice those skills, especially if anybody's struggling. And then we'll have one more complex book entry due. Complex book entry number 1 will be on essay number 3. I'll have a separate video about that. MLA format, week 15, and all credibility sources and the portfolio. And then we'll have peer review. And so, semester, this is week 12. You should be watching this video. And so, I know the semester seems like it's really long, but we're going to get there. And I promise you, just let me know if you're struggling, have any questions. I still have those office hours on Wednesdays between 12:30 and 1:30 p.m. If those don't work for you and you still need help, send me an email and I can try to schedule a one-on-one conference with you. Outside of that, I can definitely help you any way I can. Again, please let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next video.